This right here is the whole camera system laid out. I know it can be a bit daunting when you see all these wires and everything, but trust me, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is wire in 2 wires, the positive and the ground, which is easy for anyone. You can use posse taps for this part if you're new to wiring. After that is all done, you just plug in the connectors, route the wiring, and mount the hardware with the sticky tape. First, I will start off by putting the bike on its center stand and removing the seats so I can access the wiring. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to power the unit before we install anything. Where I think I'm going to power mine is I actually have a fuse box right here. So I'm going to wire into this fuse box with this little spade connector and with the positive cable. And then the negative cable will probably go to one of these chassis grounds somewhere. Alright, so now that this is crimped, it can slide into that connector. Now, you guys probably aren't going to have a fuse box, but what you can do is you can use a posse tap and you can tap into a positive wire. A posse tap is an easy to use toolless designed wire tapper. It's made of 3 small plastic parts. First, you take the wire you want to tap into and slip it onto the gray connector. After that, you take the red middle connector and take the part where the point is on it and screw it in. After that, you will slip the wire you're trying to tap into, such as the camera system power or negative, and you will slip it through the hole and then screw it on. After that, you'll have a nice watertight connection. Here is where I'll use my spade connector to add my positive wire to the fuse box. And here is where I'll be using the posse connector to add my negative wire to my voltmeter negative connection to my battery. Okay, so it's important to note that every bike is different, but what I basically did is I have a voltmeter that's wired into my battery already. I posse tapped the negative wire into the voltmeter wire to the battery, so I have a ground, and then my positive goes up to my fuse box, which goes right to there. Now all of that stuff that I already had, every bike is different. It's pretty easy to find with posse taps. You can find a ground posse tap into the ground, and with a positive you can posse tap into, say, your license plate light or something. So anyway, all that's wired in, I have a fuse on it, everything should be good to go. Now we're gonna test it. Oh, there we go, cool. So we know that works. It has switched on power. Yep, and it turns right off. So we know that the wiring is good. Now that I know that all the electronics work, I will start by mounting the display. I will start by cleaning the area with some rubbing alcohol. Then I'll stick it into place using the provided sticky pads. I chose my triple tree nut cover. It's also important to make sure that it clears everything when you turn the bars and does not hit your tank. Next, I will be mounting the rear camera. When selecting where to put the camera, it's important to place it in a spot that doesn't get too hot. I think next to my license plate should be far enough from the exhaust heat to be alright. Now I can start by feeding the wire through this convenient little hole next to my license plate. Before going too much further, I will test the cameras to make sure they work as well. Good, they both appear to be working just fine. Now I'll clean up the mounting area with some rubbing alcohol and then attach the camera to the plate using the provided sticky pad. Now I'll do the same for the front. At first I decided to place the camera under the oil cooler. However, after sleeping on the idea, I decided it would be safer to just mount it on the plastic underneath the fairing. You have to consider heat and clearance from your camera to the hugger before mounting the camera. Remember, your forks compress when you go over bumps, so it's important to get it right or you'll damage your camera and your bike. Now that everything is connected and mounted, all that's left is to run the wires. I lifted up my tank to make this a little bit easier. Make sure to use plenty of zip ties and keep the wiring away from any hot areas and areas where the wire could be pinched. I decided not to wire in the SOS button because I don't really see a need for it for my application, but if you do decide to wire it in yourself, then the process is exactly the same as the cameras.
And now this is the final result. Everything is connected, the wiring under the seat doesn't look too bad either. The cameras are placed in a nice stealthy area that's hard for other people to know that they are there, and the system works as it should. In my next video, I'll be doing a full review of this camera system, so if you're interested in this system, then make sure you check out that video. Thank you for watching.